Let's talk about Shadow of the Sith by Adam Christopher. First thing first, what is this book? This book bridges the gap between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens. This is an adventure of Luke Skywalker and Lando Calrissian. A little bit later in their years, Luke is forming his Jedi school, and Lando is still mourning the loss of his daughter who has gone missing, who he's been unable to find. Now, there is a plot that's happening. There is family that is on the run with their young daughter. This creates this crazy narrative where Lando feels really personally involved because he's trying to protect the safety of this young girl just as the same as the one that he lost. But at the same time, there's a more sinister plot that's happening behind the scenes that involves the return of the Sith. Now, there are Sith cultists and groups that worship the Sith that are active in the universe. And Luke, through his visions, becomes aware of this. And the two plots are very connected. Along with Luke and Lando Calrissian, we have Miramar and Dathan and their young daughter, Rey, who are fleeing from the Sith throughout the galaxy. And that really brings up the heart of the story. We have the actual Sith cultists who want to bring Dathan back to Exegol. On the other side, we do have some Sith cultists and some... I don't want to spoil anything just yet, but we have some people like Ochi of Bestoon and this other character that's on the cover who want to go to Exegol. Now, I made a prediction a long time ago when this artwork first came out as to who this could potentially be. You'll have to read the book to find out if I was right or not. Now, overall, I did enjoy the book. It's definitely not my favorite. It doesn't crack the top 10, but as far as the information, the lore that comes into it, it's phenomenal. It expands a lot of things in regards to the Force itself. Confirms a lot of my own personal theories, which I enjoyed, and as well as it really it dives into a lot of things that surrounded the time period of the sequel trilogy and explains quite a bit of peripheral items. Now, I know what some people are going to start saying in the comments, you shouldn't have to read a book to understand, and those people are right. You shouldn't have to read a book or any outside material to understand what's going on. And here's the thing, I've never had to do that at any point in Star Wars. There are outside things though that people want more explanation on. It's not necessary for Rey's journey, but it's nice to know. I'll give you an example. The original trilogy is Luke's journey, and he redeems his father. Now, you don't have to watch the prequel trilogy in order to find out how his father became the way he did. You can. It'll add to it. It'll make you enjoy the original trilogy more when you understand Anakin's entire journey, but it's not needed. Same thing here. None of this is needed to understand the sequel trilogy, but if you want to learn more about the universe and the players in it and what's going on with Luke and his Jedi school, and if you want to spend more time with Luke, who is pretty much at the peak of his power and ability at this point in time, yeah, you might enjoy this book. If you're a fan of the sequel trilogy, you'll enjoy this book. If you're a canon junkie, you'll enjoy this book. If you want more lore on the Force, the Jedi, and especially the Sith in canon, you'll enjoy this book. As far as my personal ranking, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. There are some times where the author does seem to be overly verbose when it comes to explain. Like, the explanations get so detailed that they remove you from the story sometimes, which is largely a trait that James Luceno does this. However, those small details usually come back around and pay off in the end, and that didn't feel like it was the case here. Additionally, the writing pace seemed a little odd, so I had a little bit of trouble getting into it in the beginning, but there was this middle section where I could not put the book down. I was just glued to it, and once I got through that little section, I had a hard time picking it back up to finishing it. The main pulse of this book, though, the bleeding heart, has to be Lando and Miramar. So we have Lando Calrissian, who has just lost his daughter and who is coming to grips with the fact that he's getting older. He was always quite a bit older than Luke. And he's not a Jedi. He doesn't have the Force. He's less ability. And he just misses his family. He wants his family to be whole. And it's a touching journey that he goes on throughout this story. On the other side, you have Miramar, which is Rey's mom, and has thrust into this life, but really adapts to it. It's her husband who is essentially a failed clone of Palpatine that was never named, was never loved, was cast aside, fled, picked his own name, and just started his own life, and now they're after him. It's a really interesting story. We also get Ochi of Bestoon. Now, I don't like Ochi here quite as much as I do in the Star Wars 2020 run. I think he's like a standout character of those comic series. The characterization, I wouldn't say is off, but it's definitely changed over the past 20 years or so. So again, overall, while I was not in love with this book, there is still a lot to love here. We get some really cool new allies. We get a new droid that's pretty damn badass. It reminds me a lot of Ash from Apex Legends, but when you read it, you'll understand why. It's a journey. Yeah, come along for the ride if you'd like to. I'm gonna leave an affiliate link if you want to pick up the book. If you enjoy the sequel trilogy, it is a must read. If you don't enjoy it, it's not something I would probably force you to put high on your radar. I've already gone over who I recommend this book to. I enjoyed reading it, and yeah, let me know if you enjoyed it or if you're planning on getting it. I'd love to hear feedback and talk about it, because I don't have a lot of people to talk to about this book, and there's some interesting things. Adam Christopher also, you could tell that he was a big fan of the expanded universe, and I've been loving it when these authors are putting little nuggets that lead back to the expanded universe in their books. There's quite a few of them in this one. Anyways, thank you for listening to me. Anyways, those are my overall non-spoiler thoughts on Shadow of the Sith. If you like the content, please like, share, subscribe, and do all the things. I really do appreciate it. And may the Force be with you.